A $15,000 pay raise for Texas teachers. That's what an Austin state representative is proposing this session. Jala Washington looks at how the legislation aims to help the state keep teachers from leaving the classroom.
Some teachers took the day off to be here,
Giving a pay raise,
a front row seat to a major legislation announcement.
introducing legislation that'll give an across-the-board $15,000 pay raise for every teacher in Texas.
Austin Rep. James Tallarico, a former teacher himself, proposing the biggest pay raise for teachers in the state's history.
I love what I do. I've had tough conversations with my husband about, do you want to leave? Do you want to do something else? And it is tough.
Texas is facing a teacher shortage like never before. Pay is a big factor.
Many teachers are still forced to get a second job in order to support themselves and their families due to our low salary.
Tallarico wants the state to use its record surplus of over $30 billion for the pay bump.
But we have no excuse. Hoarding this surplus while educators and children are suffering is immoral.
2019 legislation did give Texas teachers a pay raise, but a report from the Texas American Federation Teachers Union says salaries have actually decreased by an average of 4% in the past decade. That's when you account for inflation. And that's why Tallarico says this big pay raise is needed now.
We have an emergency teacher shortage in the state, and it requires emergency action by the Texas legislature.
Jala Washington, State of Texas.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have voiced support for teacher pay raises. That includes Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. But Tallarico said he knows it won't be easy to pass the $15,000 raise. He said that amount is a good number to start negotiations. Budget proposals from both the House and the Senate include increased funding for school districts, which could be used to boost teacher pay, but the amount is not clear. The budget plans put $15 billion towards school property tax relief. Lawmakers also propose spending $600 million to improve school safety. The emphasis on school safety comes after the Uvalde school shootings. Beyond the budget, several bills already aim to tackle different aspects of helping to keep students safe. In Uvalde, communication failures kept some people in the school from immediately receiving alerts about the gunman. Many Texas schools have alert systems that send warnings through a smartphone app, but the Texas House Special Investigative Report on the Uvalde shooting cited faulty Wi-Fi connections and teachers just not being near their phones for reasons for the delayed alerts last May. It's why some lawmakers are advocating for a panic button type technology in schools. That's a way to communicate emergencies to first responders without having to rely on Wi-Fi or phones. Capitol reporter Monica Madden shows us how the technology is getting the attention of state lawmakers.
Give them a chance to live is what we're trying to do here.
It looks like a regular ID card.
Very easy to use and wearable.
But with a few clicks of a button, this badge sets a security alert system in motion.
Strategic Standard Lockdown. This is a demo.
It also sends a precise location of users to first responders.
We're not relying on a GPS locating device. It's a special technology we've created.
As a former teacher, Heather Connolly says she wishes she would have had something like the Strategics badge.
I can tell you I rarely had my cell phone in my hand when I was teaching because I was teaching, I was working. You're actually counting on a lot of human behavior and a lot of human acceptance in order to use it. And that is what failed in Uvalde.
She now works for the company, trying to get it in as many schools as possible.
We have saved lives.
And teachers can also use this for medical emergencies. They press the button 3 times and it alerts administrators. But in the case of an active shooter, they'll keep pressing the button until they hear the alarms off, and then it will alert the entire school and even 911.
Technology like this caught the attention of state lawmakers like Democratic Representative Sean Theory.
It's not political for me, it's personal. I'm the mom of a 10-year-old daughter. They call her junior rep.
Her bill would require similar panic button technology across all Texas school districts.
What we saw in Uvalde was tragic. Time equals life. Within minutes, within seconds, all of that makes the difference between saving a life.
With all of the systematic failures in Uvalde, Theory knows these devices alone are not the only answer, but she says it's a good step.
You can't let perfect get in the way of good. It's just another way to make sure that our teachers and our children are not sitting in a silo in the event of emergency, unable to really reach the outside world.
Monica Madden, State of Texas.
Theory had a similar bill last session. It won House approval with bipartisan support, but it failed to clear the Senate. She's more hopeful this session and told us there are ongoing bipartisan discussions in the Senate. President Biden takes criticism of his border policy from Republicans.
The Biden administration has destabilized our southern border.
And from people in his own party.
The expansion of Title 42 and the transit ban will not solve this humanitarian crisis.
How a change on the border is bringing pressure from critics on the left and the right.